It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to another Sunday Night Live edition. This one happens to have me on needles right now. Pittsburgh Steelers, Dallas Cowboys going down to the wire as I open up this microphone. Big Ben and the Steelers trying to complete a 99-yard drive after the interception in the end zone. We're going to be talking some football with B.J. Jones. I'm going to have an ear open as these Cowboys and Steelers do battle. It is what it is, right? Welcome to another episode. And with that being said, we might as well go ahead and get this thing off and started. I don't know about you guys, but I know that these guys are professional. I root for the Steelers and hoping like mad they can find a way to get it. But it is what it is. I'm still. I want this game to be complete, and I got to be honest with you. I'm a little concerned. Actually, some great play calls and adjustments for the Cowboys on today's scheme. But I still like the fact that the Steelers are only holding them to field goals. And we're going to make sure that everything take care of itself. How about that? Big weekend on the college circuit. Michigan cannot get out of their own way. They lose to Indiana. Even though Indiana was a highly ranked team, Indiana had not beat Michigan in 8 or 9 years. So there's trouble brewing for Mr. Harbaugh. It's a struggle. Texas A&M blows out their opponent. Texas got a gift from West Virginia. Both teams come out on top. And what about Clemson, Notre Dame? Big game, exciting game, 2 overtimes. And the Fighting Irish pulls it off. I guess you could call it slightly an upset, but not a major upset. Basketball in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. The stakes have been marked. Predictions have been made. Got the Panthers slated for 3rd spot. Two-time defending champions. 3rd slot. And on the women's side, they got them at the 5th slot. I'm on the record for saying that the women would finish in the top 4. And I'm okay with the men being in the top 4, but 3, if not a strong 1, I got to have a 2 just because I'm 2-time defending champion. But we'll get a chance to catch up with Coach Smith later on throughout the course of the upcoming week and get his perceptions and comments on that. But you got to pick these things somewhere. Someone has to be at the top. Someone has to be at the bottom. Not that the men's case or the women's case, for that matter, are at the bottom. Unlike my feeling toward the football side of things, it appears that for whatever reason, and it could be, as I've been on record for saying, due to self-inflicting wounds, that people are either not looking at Prairie View as a major threat, or they are just saying, not quite yet. But Coach Dooley said, hey, it's his job to make the people speak and talk about Panthers football. We'll see how it all comes out. They say, well, don't come out in the wash, comes out in the rinse. And I was off on my picks this weekend. I was close, but I was off. I picked Arizona State to pull off the upset against USC, and they almost pulled it off. USC pulls that game out, get a late onside kick, and they end up taking it from the Sun Devils. So I believe Cowboys just scored. Somebody need to let me know what's going on here. I need to get an app or something open to see what exactly is going on. But somebody just scored. I'm trying to keep a monitor on that, and I got to do my job. Let me do my job, because guess what? They're doing their job, and we'll go ahead and figure some things out as we get ready to take a quick break. We're going to have BJ Jones come with us and talk some football on the college side of things, and we might even talk a little NFL tonight. Big game coming up between the Saints and the Buccaneers. We'll see how all that works its way out. So we will take a break, and we'll come back with more of the Mike Prince Show right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Hello, I'm Dr. Mike Prince, the pastor of the Temple of Refuge Ministries located in Prairie View, Texas. I am extending a personal invitation to you to come and worship with us Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Simply dial 857-777-0000 and join us for our morning worship. In the event that you miss us live, you can always go to our on-demand center at 720-721-1558 to listen to our latest sermons and Bible studies. Temple of Refuge Ministries, where we're building the kingdom, one soul at a time. Numbers to dial again for our live sermons, 857-777-0000, and on demand, 720-721-1558. Be blessed.
This broadcast has been made possible by the support of the Prairie View Athletic Club. The Prairie View Athletic Club is a proud supporter of Prairie View A&M University athletics. For more information on becoming a member of the Prairie View Athletic Club, send your email to pvathletic.club@gmail.com. That email address again is pvathletic.club@gmail.com. Prairie View Athletic Club, a proud supporter of Prairie View A&M University athletics.
Hello, this is Alonzo Hardy Jr., the president of the SWAC Alumni Association. The SWAC Alumni Association is an organization founded on December 10, 1999, at the Sheraton Hotel in Birmingham, Alabama. Its mission is to serve as a rallying ground for individuals who have made the Southwestern Athletic Conference the illustrious conference that it is today. Its membership is open to former student athletes who played in the conference in any sport, as well as to coaches, athletic administrators, staff members, game officials, and fans. Annually, the association holds a Legends Awards and Roast Banquet or luncheon where it honors individuals with Lifetime Achievement Awards, a Chuck Prophet Wackenmaster Award, and occasionally a Distinguished Service Award. Proceeds from that event help to finance degree completion scholarships for student athletes who have exhausted their playing eligibility at SWAC universities, but who may still need an extra semester or two to complete their college studies. For more information on the SWAC Alumni Association, or to get information on becoming a member, you can send correspondence to SWAC Alumni Association, 875 Miller Creek Lane, Newport News, Virginia, 23602. The email address is SWACalumniassociation@yahoo.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mike Prince Show Live. You know I had to go check the score, right? 1918, Steelers are trailing the Dallas Cowboys. Right now, the missed PAT is the difference in this one. But we still got a little bit of time left and see what happens with the old black and gold. We did a survey on this past week and was asking, do you think there should be a budget for FCS athletic departments? And it was a resounding no, saying, no, we don't think there should be a budget. You just get in where you fit in. If you can't compete, then go make the adjustments. But you've spoken, and we'll acknowledge that. I'll put an asterisk by that because we know that FCS programs are so strapped as compared to FBS programs and the TV deals that they get alone. And to keep it where you don't throw good money after bad, should you be balanced out with a budget? But you guys said no. And speaking of budgets, I've been working on a little budget challenge toward baseball. And if it was across the board, just across the board, nothing too extreme, but if you were to commit 10% of your entire athletic budget toward baseball, you would be amazed of the impact that you would have on that. Just 10%. That sounds like a lot, but it's really not a lot. 10%, let's just say, for instance, now, if the numbers are right, Prairie View is in the neighborhood between $13 and $15 million, depending on who you ask. That's a $1.3, $1.5 million budget toward baseball. You can do a whole lot with that. Let's just say, for instance, Alcorn, who's at 7.7 or 7.1 million, that's 700,000 toward baseball. In Valley's case, 3.1 million, that's 310,000 toward baseball. And I know it's a, as they say, a pie in the sky type wishful thinking, but it sure would be nice to be able to make that happen, because baseball is the neutralizer. It's the one that could really turn the tables for smaller institutions if the right investment is placed. But we will discuss that in the very near future. We're going to take us a break and get ready to receive Mr. B.J. Jones. We're going to talk some football. He can bring us up to speed of what's going on with this game that's got me all on the edge of my seat right now. Last I checked, Pittsburgh trailing 19-18. We'll take a break and we'll be back with B.J. Jones. You listen to the Mike Prince Show on the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Serving the community through faith and athletics. The Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Let's face it, from time to time, we'll have a need for an attorney, whether it's the case of a DUI, DWI, or any other circumstances that would find you on the other side of the law. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street, is the one to call. Attorney Lee Van Richardson and his staff are equipped to help you get through your legal battles. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, 979-826-8008 in Hempstead, Texas. At 17 cents a day, you can make a huge impact on our local and regional high school and college student athletic coverage. We provide local talk shows, live game coverage, and much, much more. But we need your support to continue to move forward. Visit our website today at obnradio.com. Click on the PayPal button, which is safe and secure, and become a listening partner today. Will you become part of the Open Mic Broadcast Network team? Visit that website at obnradio.com and become a listening partner today. Serving the community through faith and athletics, the voice of student athletics, the Open Mic Broadcast Network, Prairie View, Texas.
I present to you 3 of the fiercest subjects ever assembled in the cage of doom. First, the brain-wrenching behemoth, Algebra 2, weighing in at a mind-boggling 800 pounds. Foreign languages! The multilingual international sensation capable of tossing you clear across the Atlantic. And finally, biology. More ferocious than formaldehyde, she'll dissect you 1 chromosome at a time. Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Yeah, I'll do it. Me too. I'm in. Sign me up.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college. Find out which classes you need at knowhowtogo.org.
Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation for Education, and the Ad Council.
Broadcasters come into our lives on radio and TV, bringing us information and entertainment. Broadcasters are there for us, but who is there for them when they fall on hard times? The Broadcasters Foundation of America provides financial assistance to broadcasters in acute need due to a critical illness, accident, or other serious misfortune. If you know of a broadcaster on the air or behind the scenes who may need our help, please share our message. Visit broadcastersfoundation.org.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sunday Night Live. I'm on the edge of my seat. 19-18 was the score that I had. We're going to get an update from that in a moment. We're going to switch on over now on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline and get the football guru himself, none other than brother B.J. Jones. How you doing this evening, my man?
I'm doing pretty good, Mike. How's it going?
I'm not doing too well right now, man. I'm nervous.
I think, man, me and you both, man, as guys that love the black and gold of the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's been a rough day today, man.
Yeah, it's been, but you know what? I have to give credit to the Cowboys. Executing well, great game plan. Gilbert has been playing like a pro, and they've just been executing, man, making the right play calls, running when you thought they would be passing, and they've been fired up for this one. You got to give it; they've been fired up for this one.
Yep, and if you look at it, Pittsburgh has lost to Dallas when Dallas hadn't had the better team a lot over the last decade.
I'm thinking about that Super Bowl too, man. Neil O'Donnell. Man. Gee whiz. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, but you know when you get ready to play the Cowboys, that they're going to come to play, and in that rivalry, it's always closely contested.
It is, and the famous words of Mr. Edwards, that's why you play the game. And speaking of that, man, I know we're going to be getting some more football in just a minute and get back to the SWAC. I picked Arizona State for my upset, but man, you're talking about giving one away toward the end. I know Edwards was sick. Arizona State loses to USC 28-27. And you couldn't have gotten no closer. You could taste that thing, and they gave it up. The onside, the last seconds went right through the hands players team and landed right on the Trojan. You said, boy, my weekend is not going to be good.
I mean, the thing about Arizona State is that running back that they have that came from the state of Ohio, he looks great.
Yeah.
And I mean, Arizona State, man, for 3 3/4 quarters, man, they played an outstanding game. But what happened down the stretch, man, that's inexcusable.
Oh, I know. They were playing soft, and they were, sometimes you can give an opponent too much credit. And it appears that they were playing not to lose. And that's the worst thing that you could ever do. And it's also it shows a sign of insecurity or immaturity on your team. And, keep everything in front. But then you can't afford to allow people to nickel and dime you to death.
Yeah. I mean, and you almost saw yesterday, you almost saw Notre Dame kind of do the same thing.
Well, somebody just picked up 42 yards. I don't know who it was. But I don't know. There's a lot of Steelers fans at Cowboys Stadium. It might have been the Cowboys. I don't know. This is not good, BJ.
No.
This is not good. We're going to try to carry on right quick. BJ, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a break. And while I take this break, I'm going to try to get caught up and see what exactly is going on. You going to hold with me through the break, my man?
Oh, yeah, I'll hold with you.
All right, we're listening to the Mike Prince Show live on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. I don't know about BJ, but I'm feeling pretty nervous, y'all. I'm feeling pretty nervous. We'll take a break and we'll be right back.
This is Sergeant Stephen Woodard with the Texas Department of Public Safety, and this is Traffic Talk. The Texas Department of Public Safety is reminding everybody here in the state of Texas that many of the driver's license offices across the state continue to offer appointments on Saturday, and appointments remain available all also statewide Saturday for your convenience for renewal or replacement of Texas driver's license or identification cards. Saturday appointments also include several renewal election identification certificate items as well. Saturday appointments will be offered through December the 19th, and with the exception of course, November 28th, due to the Thanksgiving holiday. Offices will be open on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. for your convenience. There are many Saturday appointments available in offices across the state. Just go to our website at texasdps.gov. Be able to click on the driver's license office tab. It'll bring up the offices that are open for you. Remember, Saturday appointments were added due to individuals not being able to renew or get new licenses. Nearly 700,000 Texans within the state were in a situation to where driver's licenses and identification cards were expired. We got your back covered. Also, keep in mind, safety precautions will be taken. Maintain a safe environment for you. Come in and take care of your transaction. Every driver's license station or booth is sanitized after every customer is finished, and there will be a social distancing line to ensure safety is ensued for you and the driver's license workers. Keep in mind, please wear your mask, bring hand sanitizer, and if you don't have it, we have it for you. We always ask that you arrive 30 minutes early for your set appointment. We'll get you right in. As a reminder, we're going to be open on Saturdays for your convenience. If you have any questions, give me a call at 832-266-8239. This is Sergeant Woodard, the Texas Department of Public Safety. That was your traffic point.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Prince here with you. We are coming out of the break. Things are looking good, somewhat. I'm going to let B.J. Jones give us an update. B.J., what's the update, man? What's going on?
So right now, the Steelers have the ball at the Dallas 8-yard line. So down 1 point, got the ball at the Dallas 8 at the what touchdown?
No, get out of here.
Yeah, man, the score is now 24-19.
Get out of here, man.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, we're going to have to go for 2.
Yep.
Oh, man. Well, look, you keep us updated on here. Man, you can't beat this, man. We live. We getting Steelers updates, talking football, got BJ on the line, and it's just a good thing right now. It's a good thing.
Man. Yes.
And you let us know what the result is on that 2 point. Because, man, folks been blowing my phone up, texting me. You know, I watch the game. I don't holler or anything like that. I just watch the game and kind of study the game. And I internalize stuff. And then I kind of regurgitate it out in conversation. And they text me, 13-0. What y'all talking about? Well, I knew 14.2 touchdowns in the NFL is rough on anybody because they still pay professionals and grown men. And any man that's got any type of pride, he's going to be insulted by that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And, now let us, you going to give us the updates. Did they do the 2 points yet, or is it timeout?
Two point fail.
Okay. How much time left, BJ?
We are looking at 2 minutes. We're right at 2 minutes left to go in the game.
2 minutes left to go in the game. Gilbert has been playing lights out. Did have a red zone turnover in the end zone. And Minka Fitzpatrick, ball hawk, just taking care of business on that. So with all that being said, we know the Cowboys are playing over their heads today, but good teams make you reach a little bit deeper than under normal circumstances. And we've been talking about the football. And BJ, I've been a little bit on a rant. And I think I can officially acknowledge and call it a rant. And I'm going to need you to talk me not necessarily down or off the cliff, but see if I'm just looking at this lopsided. Since the announcement of Bethune-Cookman and FAMU coming to the SWAC, it's been great electric buzz, and absolutely, positively, it warrants that. And it seems that the Forgotten Six have been Mississippi Valley, Texas Southern, Alabama State, Alabama A&M, Pine Bluff, and Prairie View A&M University. Am I being sensitive on that, or have you not been somewhat experiencing that same lack of conversation?
I wouldn't say it's a forgotten six. I would say it's a forgotten everyone else outside of Bethune-Cookman, FAMU, and Jackson State. No one's really talking about Southern or Grambling, or the only reason Alcorn's been mentioned is because they've moved over to the west. But it has been the FAMU, Bethune-Cookman, and Jackson State show pretty much for the whole offseason.
Well, do you think it's because of obviously the move that Jackson State has made and just the newness of Bethune and FAM?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that's what's hot right now. And even for the FAMU Bethune-Cookman thing, that's kind of been washed out. And the hot topic for the last few weeks of it has been Jackson State. And the addition of Coach Prime, now Coach Prime has a son commits to Jackson State. He gets a transfer from Tennessee. All those things that have happened have kept the buzz around Jackson State.
Okay, now there's been some buzz, but then I sensed a form of retreat. There was a slight black eye that came out with some infractions about JSU, but they never really talked much about that.
No, and the thing about that, those infractions, the first time I saw them was on Saturday down south, and then SEC fans put it out. Those two publications don't talk about HBCU sports. Jackson State led the nation in FCS in attendance, and no one from either of those publications apparently knew it. But as soon as something negative happened at Jackson State, it was put out there, and the way that they put it was Coach Prime's JSU team. They threw it in there to get the clicks. So I think that's the power of what Primetime being at Jackson State does. They're going to have the microscope on them for good or for bad.
Oh, no doubt. And that's kind of what we were talking about from here, is that there are going to be some pros and cons that come with this hire. And my caution to JSU Nation is that you're going to have to not have sensitive skin and rabbit ears, because they're going to talk about you. And I was always told that if it's not always good, at least they're talking about you to keep you out there.
I mean, that's definitely one way to look at it. I know that, like I said, the talk, there's good and bad that's going to come with it. But now anything negative that happens in that program, people are going to talk about it. And if there are people from outside of the HBCU circle, they're going to talk about it in a way where they're going to make it's going to be hypocritical. Like those things don't happen in their circles and happen quite often. So if you're a Jackson State fan, buckle up, because, it's coming. The headlines are coming, both good and bad. Okay,
so since you're saying that it's been the big three and the other 9 have just been like, oh, well, right? And
right.
But see, when I'm hearing people from FAM in particular and Bethune, they say, well, we can't wait for the matchups between FAM and Graham, FAM and Southern, FAM and Jackson State. And they move on down the road. They don't even bring up the other institutions. Now, of course, me being a PV alum, do you think that it's warranted because of the lack of performance that Prairie View has done these past few seasons?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Prairie View has started off hot in the last 2 years. And you look at the talent that Prairie View has on their roster, it's amazing. You look at it both offensively and defensively. And Prairie View starts off hot, and then it's like they die off at the end of the year. Over the last 2 years, Prairie View has lost to Jackson State in some games that have been inexcusable. They've been pushed by some teams that they shouldn't be pushed by. But then on the opposite end, they'll push Alcorn. They push Southern. They beat Grambling twice. So Prairie View has been a head scratcher. So I think, with Prairie View not being able to start off strong and finish strong, then you have people that kind of overlook them.
Okay, and which is the perfect response to Coach Dooley. Says his job to make the people start talking about Prairie View. We talk about the talent that they have. We talk about how they've improved, at least on paper, on the defensive side. Do you think it's to the point to where you might have to start looking at your scheme?
Yes, you got to start looking at scheme because, you look at Prairie View, especially defensively, there's some studs on the defensive side of the football. Like, they have some studs on number 92 that's on the defensive line is one of the best defensive linemen in the SWAC, bar none. He's a guy, his motor and the way that he plays is just simply amazing. But it's sometimes that talent doesn't play up to the level to the God-given level, if I'm making any sense.
Okay.
I know that you're capable of doing more, but the talent goes through spurts, which they don't play up to the talent level. And then Prairie View has started to get the reputation of being soft. Is that, hey, all you got to do with Prairie View is hit them in the mouth, run at them. And you don't want that reputation of being a soft football.
No, and I think part of that reputation is, from my observation, is that the line on the D side in particular is undersized. It's like they go for the sleek, lean, strong guy instead of that heavy guy that can plug gaps. They are fly and attack type defensive scheme when the other guys on the flip side, they just run it right up your gut. Because that game about Jackson State, I was there, I witnessed that game. And Jackson State, and there was another team they played, Nicholls State, ran the same play to the left or the right, I know 9-10 times in a row. It was a straight dive to the left, straight dive to the right, and they just went right at the belly of the beast and conquered them.
Yeah, and one thing about when people run at you, and this is something that Nick Saban talked about when he first got to Alabama, he said, the reason I don't run all these crazy formations and do all these things because you can out-scheme that. He said, I want you to know I'm running right here, right now. Be man enough to be there when I get there. And there's no film watching to fix that. There's no scheme to fix that. It all goes back down to the thing that's in your chest. Do you have the heart to be there? And when you play football teams that are willing to run the ball at you, it eliminates all scheme.
Here it is. Deal with it.
Right.
We're talking right now with Brandon. I'm sorry I did call you that, but it's too late now. BJ Jones, football analyst here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. BJ, you got an update for us, man?
Yeah, so Dallas now has the ball on the 49-yard line with 38 seconds. Gilbert just made a deep pass to CeeDee Lamb for 32 yards, but that play is now under review.
Okay, under review.
So hold the phone.
Yeah, we're going to definitely hold the phone. And so it says 38 seconds left, and what's the score again? 26?
38 seconds, 24-19.
So a touchdown is over.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh-wee. Too close for comfort, my man. Too close for comfort. We're talking SWAC football, of course, but we're also talking NFL football, and we're talking just football in general. Now, part of this lean attack, and I was talking to a couple of coaches, and it didn't dawn on me until after having the conversation with them. They said more than budgets, more than facilities, the most important tool that you need for a successful program is a strength and conditioning coach and a nutritionist. Do you buy into that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Can you go into detail on that?
Your strength and conditioning coach, the work that you do in January and February at 5 and 6 in the morning when no one watches, that's what builds your championship teams. That's what helps you avoid the injury bug. You build your body so that you're able to beat on it during the season and not walk away injured. That's key, to have that endurance, to have that strength, especially on the lines of scrimmage, to be able to move people out of the way and assert your will. You can't do that without a strength and conditioning coach.
Okay. And the nutritional part of it?
The nutrition go hand in hand with it. You can go and put in the best gas at the gas station, but if you're not getting the tune up, you're not getting your tires rotated, you're not getting the front end alignment, you're not doing the things that you need to do, that car still ain't going to run the way it needs to. Okay. Very good analysis. And with that being said, so if you are an AD or head coach and you have, let's say, 3 scholarships available, or you can flip that 3 scholarships to a position for a strength and conditioning coach, do you take the coach? I'm tempted to take the coach.
Okay, because you can always get some walk-ons and build them up.
Right, especially at the FCS and D2 level, walk-ons have more of an impact than at any other levels. Walk-ons, the FCS and Division II level, they always have impact. Okay, so I think I guess it's wishful thinking right now, but I think part of the problem on an FCS level, not just in HBCU, but in FCF level as a whole, is that if you do have the luxuries of having a strength and conditioning coach, that's usually that one person allotted to all your sports. And I think that's where it wears thin, because your football condition is going to be different from basketball. It's going to be different from baseball. It's going to be different from volleyball, track, and field. So do you think that you need multiple people in that position? Yes, I think that you do. I think that with going across sports, I think you do need multiple, just because a lot of the workouts are going to be catered to specific of what you're doing with your sport. What do you need to build? And I think sometimes with one strength and conditioning coach, you have them doing the work of many different people. So I think that to make it easier, you would want to have more than one. Okay, so I think that's something that's more of an administrative call, I guess, because if you ask your coaches that I've talked to, they're going to say the strength and they would want both of them. But let's be honest, we only got so much money we can play with, right? Right. And so let's take it a little deeper. My favorite team to pull for, Mississippi Valley. We know that there's a challenge in the budget, limited scholarships. I don't put much stock in facilities. So do you think if you're trying to think outside the box, knowing that you have limited resources, if you're a Valley, do you pull a strength and condition? And I don't know if they have a strength and condition. I know they do have someone, but do you put your eggs in that
program building part, or do you think you need to come up with scholarships? Did I lose you, BJ? Uh-oh. I think I may have lost BJ.
Oh, yo, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I was talking on mute.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, man, I think with Valley, I think with them, I think it really comes down to scholarships. Just because I've seen Valley play football games where they were in it for a half, and then the fact that they don't have the depth, that they don't have the scholarship to bring in enough quality players, they fall apart.
Okay.
The thing with Valley is that not having enough of the Jimmies and the Joes to be able to, kick the door down. I mean, if you look at some of the talent that Valley's had over the last couple of years, they've struggled. Look at Booker Chambers. If Booker Chambers is at a Grambling or a Southern or an Alcorn or a Jackson State, he's more of a household name. But because he went to Mississippi Valley, you really didn't hear a lot about him. But you look at what he did statistically over the course of his career, Booker Chambers is a baller.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
He's one of the best ballers that we've seen in the SWAC for the last couple of years.
No doubt. And I believe he's actually on the staff now helping out Mississippi Valley.
Right.
To try to get their game up. And when you look at it, and I just got a news flash, I think it's over Pittsburgh wins. So we can breathe a little easier, baby. We can breathe a little easier. You fact check me on that because I don't want to be on.
Oh yeah, no, we got it. We got it.
It was 29 or 20, whatever. 20. We won. I don't care what the score was. We won. So we can get on.
29-24.
There we go. Close but no cigar, and a close only counting horseshoes and hand grenades. And we just dodged a couple of them just then. So we go on to 8-0. You know why I was so excited about that? Not the fact that you go 8-0, but now Mike Tomlin has guaranteed another winning season for the 15th consecutive year at Pittsburgh. Unheard of, brother. Unheard of. Absolutely unheard of. So with that being said, BJ, we're going to take us another break, and then we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the decision that was made down at Daytona Beach. And I've been reading some tea leaves on this thing, and I want to share it and bounce it with you. We'll sit through this, man. Can't get no victory champagne just yet, but we're gonna go ahead and take a break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about what's happening down at Bethune-Cookman. Can you hang with me one more time, brother?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back. You listen to the Mike Prince Show live Sunday night edition. We'll be right back.
Serving the community through faith and athletics. The Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Have sports, will travel. The Open Mic Broadcast Network serving student athletes from Little League, high school, and collegiate coverage right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. From coast to coast, from dusk till dawn. You can catch all student athletic action right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the station designed with you in mind. Serving the community through faith and athletics, the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the voice of student athletics.
Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union has 13 different locations to better serve you. Locations in Rosenberg, Missouri City, Katy, College Station, Bryan, Brenham, and Waller, Texas. For more information, you can contact them on their toll-free number, 855-391-2149. Or you can send an email to information@bvscu.org. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Prince Live, Sunday night edition. The Steelers hold off the Cowboys to go to 8-0, 29-24. And I can breathe easy. Now the watch will go to Sunday Night Football. Tampa Bay and the New Orleans Saints. Who do you see winning that one, BJ?
You said what now?
The New Orleans Saints and Tampa Bay. Who do you see winning that one?
I like Tampa Bay, man.
You like Tampa Bay?
I like Tampa Bay.
Man, so is it Brady, or is it the Belichick system, or was it a little bit of both? But Brady,
I think it's a little bit of both. I don't really think you can judge the Patriots right now. The Patriots right now, they don't have that defense that they had a year ago. People forget the Patriots had the most players in the NFL to opt out. So there are 8 players. They have, I think 10 players for the Patriots that have opted out. So I don't think you can really say, but Tom Brady, he got out at the right time. So I mean, he made a smart decision.
Abandoned ship.
Yeah.
You see, he got to go. And you know what's another added caveat will be the introduction of Antonio Brown in Tampa Bay tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be interesting. Okay, enough about that. Bethune-Cookman has made the announcement recently that they will not only not participate in spring football, but they're shutting down all athletics until fall 2021. First, what's your take on that?
Hey, they made the decision that was best for them. If that's the decision that they want to make sure that their students and student athletes are safe, I'm not going to disagree with it. With this pandemic, a lot of people think that you can control some of these things, but you can't. And the biggest thing about this pandemic is, and this is something that's upset me, we talk about athletes catching it like they're spraining the ankle. To this day, we do not know the long-term effects of COVID. And we've had some student athletes as well as NFL athletes and NBA athletes speak out about what COVID has done to them.
Right.
And it's like they're not talking. The young man from Jacksonville, the running back who was expected to be the starter after they let go Leonard Fournette, has been hospitalized twice. And he didn't have a serious case of COVID. But since he's gotten over it, he's been hospitalized twice. And ultimately, they told him that, hey, we just need to shut it down. If you look at Russell Westbrook, what he said, when he talked about him going to the bubble after COVID, he was never the same. He couldn't get his win. You look at the way that Cam Newton and Ezekiel Elliott have played. They haven't said anything, but you can look in their games and tell it's not the same. So I understand. If Bethune-Cookman wants to make that move, make that move.
Absolutely. Now, what's happened is, in particular on the baseball side of things, a lot of players are trying to transfer out to try and latch up with other universities and programs that are projected to play in the spring, and to each his own on that. But when you look at the overall effect, and as much as I love, as much football as I've been watching, it is still felt incomplete without that swag, through these fall crisp afternoons and evenings. But I'd rather lean towards safety than my own personal enjoyment. But with the way things are working, not just in HBCU, but in FCS structure as a whole, if spring football is to be successful, you're going to have people in the stands. And if we have to play at a 25% capacity, it's not worth it on our level. It's not worth it because there's not enough money to be generated. If you can only get 25%, do you really believe that you're going to get 25% of the people that follow HBCU sports in particular to come out to the stands?
I think that you're 100% right. I think for us to do this in the spring, it has to be full blown. or if not, you put yourself in the spot in the position where you're losing a lot of money. Right? You're losing a lot of money, and I look at this from a common sense standpoint. When I turn on the news, I see for the last week, really for the last 2 weeks, the United States of America has been over 90,000 new cases a day.
Yeah.
For the last week, we've been over 100,000. We're 120,000, then 126, then 130,000 yesterday. This thing ain't getting better. It's getting worse. And we're at the point right now where we're worse from a COVID standpoint than where we were when we shut everything down back in April. So that tells me that having spring football at this particular point is either a pipe dream or it's 50-50 at best on that happening.
I'm not going to call it a pipe dream, but I think it's a dangle of hope, because if put yourselves in a leadership's position, right? You know what it's looking like data-wise. You know what the money and dollars and cents are saying. But then you got to give your fan base something to hold on to. What harm is it to put out a projected schedule? Because that's all it is a projected schedule. You saw what it did, right? It created conversation. It created where do you play the Bayou Classic. It created where do you play the Texas State Fair Class between Grambling and Prairie View. It projected and created a whole bunch of conversation, which is a good thing, right? Because now I can buy you another 4 months, because we knew, okay, fall is done. What can we do to help them hold on? Now you kind of get your mind off of that for a little bit. Why? Because the start of basketball season. Basketball season has a greater chance of being successful for a couple of factors. Factor number one, you don't have as much personnel to have to try to contain and juggle. Number two, you can control how much space you would need, and it's more realistic on a bubble concept for basketball than it would be for football. It's just a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you still can, like you say, by that time, figure that thing out. And I've always said, until you have a vaccine, monitoring is one thing, testing is another, but you still don't have a cure.
And that's the big part. 'Cause you can test all day. You test and telling me that I have it. We don't know how my body or these kids' bodies or these coaches' bodies or anybody else's body who gets it. We don't know how their bodies are going to react to it. And at this point, we have over 230,000 deaths. And what we don't talk about is the people who are near death that didn't die, where it's a long road to recovery.
No doubt.
That's something that I can speak on, with my mom, with what's going on, right now. So you have a lot of those, and like I said, it's amazing in the sports world. We kind of talk about COVID, like I said, like it's like someone sprained their wrist or their ankle, and when in actuality, it goes a lot deeper. And I think 10 years from now, we're going to be talking about the impacts and the effects that COVID had on people, and the decisions that we're making right now, or we've made, over the course of the summer, in the spring, and so forth.
Absolutely. B.J. Jones, football analyst here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. He helped me weather through the storm to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers, or at least keep a radar on the Pittsburgh Steelers, inking out one against, dare I say it, America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, to go to 8-0. BJ, I know you're a Southern grad. You are a Southern proud man, but I've been thinking about something, and I want your honest feedback on this. We talk about Dawson Odom. I like the work and the job that Dawson Odom does. He's been on the topic of conversation from all over. And I've spoken with a couple of people about this. But when you look at it, with the body of work that Dawson Odom has done, I begin to think that is still a residue of Stump Mitchell and his staff. And it makes me go back, hindsight 2020. Did Stump Mitchell do that bad of a job while leading the Southern Jags?
Yes.
Based on?
Yes. Based on his win-loss record, how we competed in some games. We will never forget the blowout loss at home to not even a good Division II team, Arkansas, Monticello, the Boll Weevils. The blowout losses that we had to teams like Tennessee State, and not being able to compete against teams like Alabama A&M. Yes, it was bad. The Stump Mitchell era was bad, and Stump's a great guy, a guy that I like a lot. He's done a lot for Southern University since he's been gone. He's been an advocate for Southern University, but the program under Stump Mitchell was bad. It was bad, and like I said, that Valley loss before he was fired was just simply the lowest point.
Say that's it, bro. Don't even come to the office. We got you covered. We got you covered. I do understand. So when you compare the body of work that Odom has put in, and I'm not asking, do you think he should be fired? But let's just do a grade system. What letter grade would you give him for the body of work that he's put in?
I'll give him a B+.
Okay. Based on
he's been the coach, the head coach since 2013 as a full-time standpoint. He's never had a losing season. He did most of this, the work that he's done, the wins that he has accumulated, most of them have been done under probation, where seasons we were limited from a scholarship standpoint. We were limited from not having a spring practice. So we're just getting out from under sanctions. And basically Dawson Odom was a one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest, and he was kicking a lot of butt. He was competing for the division title with we didn't have as many scholarships as everyone else, with no spring practice. So if you look at what he did there, the kids are great kids. They graduate. They stay out of trouble. And if they don't go on to do something in the football arena, they're going on and they are being great members of society. For you to go through that, win the division titles that you've won, you have a conference title, you have you're right there with Pete Richardson as far as winning percentage. He has a B+ only for this reason. He would have an A if he had split one of these last two SWAC championship games. You split one of those two, you give him an A. I can't give him an A with coming up short to Alcorn 2 years in a row in that championship game.
Can you give him an A-? B+ it is.
I can't give him an A-, simply because that 1-3 in championship games is hard for me to give you a A and not at least be 500 in the championship games.
Okay. Do you believe with the body work that he's been able to achieve off the field as compared to on the field warrants that he's the guy for that position?
I think that, to me, he's the guy for that position. Now, there are a lot of people that are going to need convincing. Our fan base is a fan base that when you expect, we expect to win at something. And anything short of a championship, you to a lot of people, you might as well just should have went just 2-9. Now they say that
until it happens.
Until it happens. I remember the Stump Mitchell era, and that was not fun. But I think a lot of people were not fans of Dawson Odoms when he was hired, and they have continued to be not fans of Dawson Odoms. And I've heard some of the stupidest reasons on why they aren't fans of Dawson Odoms. None of them have anything to do with his coaching abilities or what he's doing. So a lot of people just have never been on his boat. And I'm going to be honest with you. Originally, I hated the hire because I feel like when you hire the guy that's on the losing staff, what you're saying is this guy has all the answers. He just didn't tell anybody. So, and usually that doesn't work out. But I'm thankful that it did, and he proved me wrong, and he's racking up the wins, and now we're going into seasons expecting the conference title, as opposed to when he first took over in the Stump Mitchell era. We were just hoping just not to get embarrassed when we played certain teams.
Well, my man, I couldn't end it on a better acknowledgement. I thank you so much for joining in with me to help me get through this emotional struggle tonight with my beloved Pittsburgh Steelers. But we got it done. BJ, real quickly, we're signing off. Tell other people how they can get in contact with you, my man.
You can find me on Twitter at Inside HBCU Football. You can find me there. You can find some of my work I do at HBCU Game Day. Hey, the barbershop. I ain't forgot about you guys. Man, the barbershop is coming soon. Look, I feel energized. I feel energetic. It's going to be something, man. It's going to be something. I'm ready to get that, getting ready to get that rolling right here on the Open Mic Network.
Well, we're ready to let it happen, my friend. We want to thank you guys so much for joining in with us. We want to thank our sponsors on tonight, Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union. As a matter of fact, we're on that line right now. Temple of Refuge Ministries, Attorney Lee Van Richardson, Prairie View Athletic Club, Helping Hand Lawn Service, Diva Skin Conditioner, and we want to thank you, the listener. Don't forget, we can be right here each and every day on the Mike Prince Show. You can follow me on Twitter at the Mike Prince Show and the YouTube channel, Open Mic Broadcast Network. I'm running out of time, and I must exit stage left. But until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.